Hey guys, Chuka here. If you're planning on getting a new camera to shoot videos and you're not sure of which to get, this video is for you. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on Sony cameras, as that's the brand I personally use and can give account of. All the cameras mentioned in this video are all really good cameras. They all can shoot 4K videos, they all have good autofocus, they all have a flip LCD screen, and they can all shoot in S-Log. But there are certain features only the more expensive cameras have, which we'll talk about in this video. It's up to you to decide if you need those extra features and if it's worth spending the extra money to get them. Before we begin, here are some things you need to know. Every camera has a sensor. The size of the sensor is one of the major factors that's responsible for video quality. The bigger the sensor, the more expensive the camera will be. The bigger the sensor, the better the quality, the more the blurry the background of a video will be, and the better to perform in low light situations. Based on their sensor size, the cameras I'll be talking about in this video are classified into three types. Starting with the smallest sensor size, they are 1. 1-inch sensor, 2. APS-C cameras, also known as crop sensor cameras, and 3. Full frame cameras. Full frame cameras are the most expensive, 1-inch sensor cameras are the least expensive. Now, in 2022, here are the best Sony cameras right now for shooting videos, starting from the cheapest to the most expensive. Links to all the cameras will be in the description below. First up, coming up at $748 is the Sony ZV10, which has a 1-inch sensor. The Sony ZV10 is a point and shoot camera, which means that it doesn't have an interchangeable lens. You can't change the lens. The lens is permanently attached to it and you are stuck with the lens for life. This is a camera I recommend to someone that is a complete beginner, someone that wants something that is very easy to use while still producing good quality. Someone that doesn't want to learn or have time to learn how the more advanced cameras work. It is very small and lightweight. It has a weight of just 294 grams, making it the lightest camera amongst the bunch of cameras we are going to be talking about in today's video. It has cool features like internal ND filter, product showcase, which is a feature that when turned on would prioritize focusing on the product rather than your face when you have a product that you're showcasing in a video. Before we move on to number 2, all the cameras I'm going to talk about from now to the end of the video are mirrorless cameras. Unlike point and shoot cameras, a mirrorless camera has an interchangeable lens system, which allows you to use a variety of lenses with the camera, thereby giving you a lot of room to grow with the camera. A good lens is something that can significantly improve the quality of your camera, so having the ability to be able to change lenses is a huge plus. Okay, so next up we have the Sony ZV10, which is this camera right here. It's a mirrorless camera that costs $698 for the body only. Body only is the price for only the camera's body without a lens, for people that want to get just the camera body and buy lenses for it separately. It costs $798 for the body and its kit lens, which is a 16 to 50mm lens. Kit lens is a basic lens that is usually included as a bundle with new cameras. It's a good lens to start with and you can always get a better lens later on. The ZV10 is a crop sensor camera. It has a bigger sensor than that of the ZV1, which has a 1-inch sensor. So expect better quality from the ZV10, coupled with the fact that you can still buy better lenses for it to further improve the quality. It's also worth noting that both the ZV1 and the ZV10 don't have a viewfinder, which is a downside if you plan on taking lots of pictures with the camera and you prefer using a viewfinder. So this is a viewfinder. It's that small display that photographers put their eye in when taking pictures. You can still take pictures by using the display of the ZV10 or ZV1, but most people typically prefer using a viewfinder. Next up, we have the Sony A7C. This is a full frame camera that costs $1,798 for the body only. Yeah, I know, way more expensive than the camera we just talked about. Full frame cameras have a bigger sensor than crop sensor cameras, which means better quality and also way more expensive. The rest cameras we'll be talking about from now to the end of this video are all full frame cameras. The Sony A7C is very similar to Sony's old legendary A7 III. They both have a very similar price point, but I recommend the Sony A7C over the Sony A7 III for videos because 1. It's a much newer camera. It was released in 2020 whereas the Sony A7 III was released back in 2018. So the tech in the A7C is more recent. It also has Sony's improved color science. The Sony A7 III doesn't have that. 2. The Sony A7C is also smaller and more lightweight. I personally prefer smaller cameras, but I know that's subjective, so That's that. The Sony A7C also has weather sealing, which the two cameras we already talked about don't have. That's the ZV1 and the ZV10. They both don't have weather sealing. Weather sealing means you can take it out into the rain with no issue, as no water will get inside the camera. For cameras that don't have weather sealing, avoid taking those cameras into the rain. Now, these three cameras we've talked about so far all have the same maximum resolution, frame rate and bit depth it can shoot at. They can all shoot at 4K 24 frames per second, 4K 30 frames per second, and 1080p 120 frames per second with a maximum bit depth of 8 bits. The remaining cameras we're about to talk about can shoot at higher resolutions, frame rates and bit depth, so expect a noticeable change in quality with these cameras. Another thing you need to know is that the higher the frame rate, the more you can slow down the footage without it looking choppy. You cannot slow down a 24 frames per second video at all without it looking choppy. You can slow down a 30 frames per second video down from 100% speed to 80% speed. 100% speed being your normal speed, not fast, not slow. 80% speed being a slower speed. You can slow down a 60 frames per second video from 100% speed to 40% speed. You can slow down a 120 frames per second video down from 100% speed to 20% speed. And you can slow down a 240 frames per second video down from 100% speed to 10% speed. All these videos in a 24 frames per second timeline. In most cases, 24 frames per second videos have already been slowed down to 10% speed, so you would not need to do the slowing down yourself manually when editing. If you're getting value from this video, please subscribe, hit the like button and turn on post notifications. Loads more of this type of video will be coming your way every week. So next up, we have the Sony A7 IV. This is a hybrid camera, meaning it is designed to be good at both videos and photos. It is for people that take lots of photos and also shoot lots of videos. It has a 33 megapixel sensor, so it's good for taking high resolution photos. It costs $2,498 for the body only, and it is a weather sealed camera. This camera can shoot videos in 10 bits, meaning it produces way more colors than all the cameras we already talked about, which are all 8-bit cameras. 10-bit cameras can produce up to 1 billion colors, while 8-bit cameras can only produce 16.7 million colors. The more the colors, the more data it can hold, and the more you can manipulate the footage when color grading. This feature is very useful for colorists and people who do heavy color grading, as it makes their job easier. Shooting in 10 bits is also essential if you love shooting in Sony's S-Log3 picture profile, which is a very flat picture profile that has a higher dynamic range than all other Sony picture profiles. Shooting in S-Log3 on an 8-bit camera leads to issues like banding and color blocking. So if you have an 8-bit camera, don't shoot in S-Log3. S-Log2 is a better option for 8-bit cameras. Whilst the cameras we already spoke about can shoot at a maximum resolution and frame rate of 4K at 30 frames per second, the Sony A7 IV can shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second, which is a plus, but it also has a flaw. There is a 1.5x crop when shooting in that mode, which simply means that any focal length of lens you're shooting at, multiply that focal length by 1.5, and that will be the actual focal length that you'll be shooting at. Your 24mm lens will no longer be 24mm. It will now be 36mm when shooting in this mode. Your 35mm lens will now be 52.5mm, and so on and so forth. In most cases and for most people, this is a downside, especially when you're shooting in a tight space. But in cases where you want to shoot something that is further away, this crop can be a good thing, as it will give you more zoom that's more rich. This camera was released in 2021. It also has Sony's new and improved menu system, which was first introduced in 2020 with the release of the Sony A7S3, which is the next camera we are going to talk about. The Sony A7S3. The camera we are currently using to shoot this video is the Sony A7S3, aka the low light beast, aka the video machine. This camera was made strictly for video shooting, though you can still take good pictures with it, but that's not what it's made for. It had a 12 megapixel sensor, so when editing, you won't be able to crop in as much without losing quality. The Sony A7S3 costs $3,498 for the body only. It can also shoot in 4K 60 frames per second, but unlike the Sony A7 IV, it doesn't have a crop when shooting in this mode, which is a plus. That's not all. It can also shoot in 4K 120 frames per second with a very minimal 1.13x crop, and it doesn't overheat when shooting in any of these modes. That's a game changer, and that's what made this camera a big deal when it came out 2 years ago, and it's still a big deal today. It's very good at maintaining good quality footage when shooting in low light situations. It has the dual native ISO, which are ISO 614 and ISO 12800. So once you move from ISO 10000 to ISO 12800, it cleans up and gets rid of noise really well. That's why it's called the low light beast. The Sony A7S3 also has no rolling shutter, which all the cameras we've talked about have. Rolling shutter isn't a good thing to have. It makes footage look awkward when panning. Overall, the Sony A7S3 is a much better camera for shooting videos than the Sony A7 IV. But if you need a camera that can shoot really good videos and take really nice pictures, and if you also don't need the extra features that the Sony A7S3 had when it comes to video shooting, then go with the Sony A7 IV. I made a video comparing the video quality of the Sony A7S3 with that of the Sony ZV10. So, click this link to go watch that to find out how much more you're getting from a camera that costs 5 times more. The next camera we're going to talk about is the Sony A1. This is the ultimate Sony mirrorless camera, the best of the best. It can do everything that all the cameras we've spoken about can do and much more. It's a full frame camera that shoots 8K at 24 frames per second and 30 frames per second. No other camera we've spoken about can shoot in 8K resolution. It shoots 4K 120 frames per second, 4K 60 frames per second. It can shoot in 10 bits. This is the camera that's really good at everything. It is the best Sony mirrorless camera for shooting videos, and it is also the best Sony mirrorless camera for shooting photos. It has a 50.5 megapixel sensor, so it's really good at taking high resolution photos, which would be really useful if you want to crop into the photos without losing quality when editing. Really good for fast motion photography. Only possible setback of this camera is its price really, as at the time of shooting this video, it cost $6,498 for only the camera body, which is almost double the price of the Sony A7S3. But for what it can do, it's very much worth it. Thanks for watching guys. If you found this video useful, subscribe and share this video to others that need it. If you have any questions, ask me in the comment section down below and I'll be happy to answer. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.